So you all have been asking for it, and here it is. The utility box video. What's going on, you guys? Slim here to talk about my utility box. So this has been highly requested lately. I noticed in my comments just on a lot of my videos, you guys have been asking me about this, and yeah, I'm like super excited to finally bring this to you guys. So what I am going to talk about today is my utility box and the reason why I carry one and why I feel every Yu-Gi-Oh player, whether you're on the locals level, regionals level, any kind of level of Yu-Gi-Oh, all the way up to like the highest level of competition, I think every player should have a utility box. And I know what you guys are saying. The first thing most people will say is, Slim, well, why can't I just have a binder? You can. You absolutely can. However, I personally feel that a utility box, it's like more portable, it's right in front of you, and there's just something about it. I'll tell you guys right now, I think it's the very structure of it that I really, really like. And what we'll do today is we'll actually go through my utility box, and I'll talk to you guys about why, first and foremost, why I have one, where I take it with me. It's pretty much every Yu-Gi-Oh event, and you know, how it changes depending on the format and things that just I feel really help you know, any kind of players that want to do this. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. This is a discussion I've been wanting to do with you guys for a while. I think that first and foremost, the utility box is just amazing. It just simplifies things and it puts everything in front of you. A binder does the same thing, which I completely understand, but I kind of look at a binder, like I've said in the past, I like to keep deck cores in a binder. I find it easier for me just to, you know, have a deck core on separate pages and, you know, okay, here's my Mech Knight deck, here's my Thunder deck, here's my Grand Maju deck, here's my Pendulum deck, here's my whatever deck, etc. And then for me, that's just how I do things. But when it comes to a utility box, this is what I'm excited about. We're going to show you guys like a lot of like what I call like side deck staples that I think every player should have, and just really good cards that are just good to have at reach pretty much in any situation. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys what's in here. You know, shout out to South Park. You guys already know, ever since I got this sticker, I just slammed it on here. And yeah, it's the Noble Knight box for anyone that's wondering. I know some of you were asking. Yeah, it's just the Noble Knight box. I ended up getting it like ages ago, and I never really used it until probably about a year or so ago, and then made it into the utility box. But yeah, we'll get into it. I hope you guys are excited, and yeah, I'll show you guys what's in here. So here it is, you guys, my utility box. Again, like I already told you guys, it's the Noble Knight box. You get these a long time ago. I don't even, God, it's been so many years since I had seen this thing, but yeah, this thing's really cool. What I like about this, first and foremost, is its portability. You guys have noticed also the gold sarcophagus tins. They're extremely portable as well. However, I liked the room that this one had as opposed to the gold sark. I felt the gold sark, while it was perfect for carrying cards, I felt that it was a little tight, and that was something I just didn't want. But yeah, okay, so here we go. So for those of you who know me personally, those of you probably, a lot of you don't, but for those of you who do, I try to be as organized as possible when it comes to certain things. I just like to be organized. It makes my life easier. It makes it so I can see things, and that's kind of like the whole point of a utility box, is its organization. It organizes cards. I have things based on monsters, spells, traps, extra deck cards, and they're all in here for a certain reason, and I'll show you guys like as I break through to it. I use just like random dividers. I'll just let you guys know. I have like random Pokemon ones, random Magic ones. These are all like deck dividers from like different deck boxes that people have let me, you know, I've literally just asked for these like over the years, like just to, you know, just keep them, just, you know, just kind of just organize stuff and just divide it the way I wanted. But we'll start with the monster one. So the whole point of a utility box has been, for me, side decking. Side decking is one of the most important things in Yu-Gi-Oh! You play more games side decked than you do not side decked, and I constantly want to have access to the best cards. You never know when a hot tech is going to pop up. A card that you carry with you could just be, you know, the card that wins you the tournament. It could be a card that you didn't think of, a tech card you didn't think of, and I just always want to be prepared. So for that reason, I'll show you guys kind of how I broke this down. This is actually a pretty big pile, the monster pile, but I'll show you guys how I did break it down. This is actually like 2 stacks for anyone who's wondering. So I started with basically hand traps, and what I wanted to do was just have access to everything. Now, some cards are lent out, so you're not going to see complete sets. You're going to see mismatching rarities and stuff. It's because I've lent a lot of stuff out to my friends, you know, so they can use stuff that I don't use depending on the format. But you guys can see I got ogres, I got veilers, I got Joel and Lockbirds, cherries, you know, all this stuff, all the usual suspects, no materials, Lancias, Ashes, Shifters, the Gamma package, Nibiru's, and Phantasmes. So the whole point of that is I want to have access to as many hand traps as possible. I know some are missing, some are in other decks, like Ghost Bells, all that stuff are just, you know, scattered around like my other decks and stuff, but these are cards that I just always like to have access to. I feel these are just generic enough cards that they'll come up. Maybe not Winter Cherries as much, but it was just in there. I've always had my set of Winter Cherries, and I just never really took them out of my utility box. I felt like, I think the last time I used them was when Goki was a deck and you had to Winter Cherries the Assault Day, so it was just in there and it never really went out. But so the rest of this is just kind of random stuff, so just good cards. And what I call good cards are cards that I feel just come in and out of formats and are just really good in side decks. I have things like Prankatops, Cyber Dragons, Denkos if we're playing against back row decks. I've got Sphere Mode's underrated card, Vanity's Fiend, Spell Cancelers, and then these kind of fall into the category of what I call just good cards. These are good cards that come up in and out of formats. This was a card that the Thunder deck played for a long time, the Wombo Combo one, because you could Brotor, target the opponent's Hayate and then search this. You know, also if you just draw, you know, just like, usually it was just game against Striker, so it was really cool. So I just kept cards like that around, as well as I have certain engines in here. I call them engines, but yeah, so certain engines. So what I do have here is I have the Distributive Mermare package. For those of you that aren't familiar, what this basically is it turns into the Yazi Mermare package, and you know, you just bank a bunch of tokens, you know, clear your opponent's board, and it's just insane. So I like to have engines like that. So I have the Yazi Mermare package, as well as the Neospatian Aqua Dolphin package. This it doesn't see as much play as it used to. I think it still sees play in that Dark Warrior Orcus deck. I know it's still a deck. Benjamin Dieter keeps topping with it at regionals, so yeah, this is just another option you have. This is just another good engine that, you know, can come in and out of formats, and depending on the deck, I just always want to have it at hand. I also have just Tenyi Vishuda. I like this card a lot. This is a going second card. This is a card that I actually want to try in Mech Knight Invoked. It's something I've been looking at some of the lists that play like Mech Knight Invoked Dangers, and they play this card as well. What I like about it is, you know, you turn this into Monk of the Tenyi, you know, you clear a card. It's pretty cool. It's a free summon. It's a guaranteed summon, so it's really cool. It's just something I threw in there as well. And then the Scythes, because, you know, Sanctum is in here in the trap pile, and, you know, I just like to have the artifacts on hand because you never know if they're going to pop up in the format. We know how powerful those cards are, so again, the whole point is to always just have good cards on hand. And then I just have the kaiju. So I just have like one of each, just cause you just don't know. I have multiple copies of certain ones. Like I have multiple Gamma Seals, and I think I have multiple Radians. I actually don't have full sets of all of these, but I like to just have one of each on hand. You just never know. Like certain decks, like Crusadia, OTK, all these decks play all of them, just to have the ability, just to have the option. Gamma Seal is the most generic, probably followed by Kumungus, but they're just good to have. You can search this one in Thunder Dragon, so that's kind of cool. You search this in Dinosaurs, and yeah, just random stuff like that. So that's like pretty much the monster section. So the best advice I could give to you guys is organize it by like hand traps, good engines, good cards, and yeah, stuff like that. That way you'll have access to pretty much everything at any point. You'll know what hand traps to put either in your main deck or side deck. You'll know what good engines to put in your main deck, siding kaijus if you want, siding, you know, tech cards like Spell Cancer or Vanity's Fiend, depending on your deck can support them, stuff like that. It just comes in really handy. Next is, of course, the spells. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because this should be self-explanatory. It's just a lot of good spell cards. That's all it really is, you guys. Spell cards that, you know, could just come up. I still can't stand this card, but it sometimes is a good side deck card because sometimes decks don't have outs to it. But you want to just have good utility cards. This is a card that can be in your main deck or side deck. You guys know this. And just good forms of removal. You know, this card comes in and out of formats. This is just a cool card. That's literally why that's in here. When I played the Sekka deck, when I played the decks, I played Melody as well, you know, to go with the kaijus. I should get these hollow, but yeah, you guys remember when this card was insane. I think this is a card that I think can pop up in any format. I think it's very underrated, but you guys know how powerful Chalice is in and out of formats. And yeah, just have, you know, Book of Eclipse, and then just some random one-ofs, just depending on the decks that I'm playing. So yeah, spell cards, it's just the same exact thing, and traps will be the same exact thing as well. You just want to have good, you know, just good traps. You just want to have access to good traps, and like I said, you're never going to know where they're going to be in your main deck or your side deck. One thing I will stress to all of you is have all the solemns. Yeah, have all the solemns. There's no reason not to. We have 3 copies of everything except warnings, so yeah, it's pretty good. I have the artifact engine. This card's been reprinted, so everyone has access to it. This card's really annoying, but you just, you know, if your deck can play it, you play it. And just really good generic cards. I think Crackdown is one of the most underrated traps that came out recently. I think the card's really cool. Compulse cease play in and out of formats. Unending Nightmares. This is like Pendulum Hate stuff, you know, Eradicators. You summon limits, you know, just really, you guys have seen all these trap cards before somewhere. Like, you guys know why they're here. They're just good generic cards to have, and that's the whole point, is you want to have good generic cards that can go in and out of your side deck and our main deck, and yeah, or depending on like what you're playing. And then lastly, it's just pretty much the last section. So the last section I have in here is the random AF extra deck cards. So this, I'll admit, is probably the least organized section of this entire utility box, but it does still have a lot of value. So the whole point of this is, I just never know when any of these cards are going to come up, and I'm going to be honest, I have no idea. They could be Winter Cherries targets, they could be the most insane cards that just come up. Like, I remember when Zeta would come up playing the Crusadia deck, it was a card that no one except Joshua Schmidt had thought of, and then people started playing it. You know, you just want to have access to it when it was good. If I felt like during that time I wanted to test out Crystal Wing over Hot Red, it was there. If I played the Crusadia deck, just random stuff that just sometimes comes up. There's the Yazi I told you guys about, and you just never really know when these cards are going to come up. Like, really, like, I want to have access to everything. I want to have everything just in my disposal, and it comes up a lot. It comes up a lot, especially at big tournaments. You know, you can test a lot of things out at locals, and then when you're done, you know, you can just reorganize everything, and there you go. It's portable, and, you know, it's simple, and that's what I really like about it. And that's pretty much it, you guys. That's my utility box, and yeah, I absolutely love it. Like I said, if you guys don't want to have a utility box, you guys want to carry a binder instead, by all means. For me personally, I just like to keep deck cores in a binder. I like to keep good side deck cards, main deck staples, all that stuff, tech cards all in here. It just, I always have it on hand. It's organized. That's one thing I will stress to you guys. If you are going to make one, try to organize it. If you have cards everywhere, like I've seen plenty of people that just have cards everywhere, and that's fine. I mean, sometimes you just like to pilfer through stuff to find stuff, but for me, if it's like last minute, I just heard about a tech spell card or trap card or monster or something, I know exactly where to go in my utility box and to find it. I also know what's in my utility box. I know what cards I have in there, what cards I don't have in there. So I know if a tech card comes up, oh, I've got it, or oh, I've got to get it. You know, I'll know if it's on my person, and it just comes, you know, comes in really handy. But yeah, you guys wanted this. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, again, you know, communicate it to me. You know, share the video if you want as well. I think this is just something that every player could benefit from. I think organization just in anything in life is really important. I think, you know, even organizing your cards, you know, for a tournament is super important. I know some people that are super OCD with how they like to organize their side deck or extra deck, you know, depending on how they build it, and I completely understand that. I have been the same way in the past, and over the years I can tell you that just having a utility box, having organization like this, it's super helpful. It makes, you know, playing so much easier. It makes side decking a lot easier as well as you're constructing a side deck, because you know what cards you have, you know what cards you need to put in your utility box, and you can also check trends. You can check trends on, you know, side deck cards that are played in, you know, certain events. You know, you can put those cards in there. That's what I do. I put a lot of cards in here. When I see that certain cards are being played, I test them out. I take certain weeks at locals to test this out, test this out, test this out. I test things online, and then by doing that, I have pretty much all the data there. Like, I know, okay, do I play this, do I not play this, and you know, that's what I do, but I always have access to it, and I think that's the whole point. Is a utility box, it can also minimize. Here's another thing. So the biggest thing about this is smaller than a binder. This is smaller than a binder depending on what kind of bag you carry, and it just makes things easier. Everyone is always looking for a binder. I like binders too, but I do prefer a utility box. It is smart, it is smaller, it is more portable, and overall I think it's just something that you guys should all consider having, because again, it's another item I think any player of any level can benefit from. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. You guys know what to do. Give it a like if you did. Share the video with people. I'd really like to get this video across, because I think it's just something that doesn't get touched upon enough. Like, we need to have organization. It's good to have just really good gear, and it's good to just keep ourselves, like I said, I've used the word organized probably 20 billion times in this video, but organization is key. If you keep everything organized, like you keep everything organized in your life, you're gonna be good to go. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. If you have a utility box, you know, share that with me. I'd love to hear your story as well. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.